Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. I'm sure many of you out there have already heard that the U.S. Congress, according to Senator Chris Murphy, is getting very close to cementing a bipartisan deal on gun control. Now, this is startling news because gun control is seldom a good thing, unless, of course, you're keeping control of your gun through a good grip, etc. at the range. That's good. But as far as national legislation, gun control is seldom created for the benefit of the citizens. It's more for the benefit of the people in power. So it's startling to hear that they are reaching a bipartisan agreement. But is it something worth being all that upset about? Because what's going to be in it? What isn't? I do believe it is something to be very upset about, but I'll tell you why in a minute here. But it's not for the reasons a lot of people think. A lot of people think it's because there's going to be an assault weapons ban. They're going to raise the age to 21 to buy long guns. They want universal background checks. Therefore, completely deleting your ability as a citizen to sell legal items to another citizen without government involvement. That's what universal background checks actually means. It means creating a database for all gun transfers and deleting your right as an individual to engage in commerce with legal items without the government having to approve first. So people are worried about these things being in the legislation. Well, according to Chris Murphy, who is like the spear point on this thing for the Democrats, he has actually admitted on pretty much every show he's been on that no, there will not be an assault weapons ban. There's no political will for it. They can't get bipartisan agreement on that. Believe me, if Democrats were in complete control with a big enough margin, it'd be in there, but it isn't. Also, he says that raising the age to 21 is probably not going to be in there because he doesn't think that can get 60 votes. When he was asked about that, he's like, well, right now we're trying to stick to things that'll get 60 votes. That wouldn't get 60 votes. Plus, likely to be declared unconstitutional because one of the major appeals courts, I think it's the 11th Circuit, has already said that it is unconstitutional to say someone is an adult at 18, but then selectively deny them constitutional rights. So that wouldn't be looking good for them, even if they did want to put that in there, because it looks like it would set up a fight that they would lose. So they don't want to go for that. And as far as universal background checks, he just came right out and said, yep, no will for that. Not going to be in there. If you're someone like Biden who's wanting an assault weapons ban, and assault weapons, we mean semi-automatic rifles. If you're wanting that, or you're wanting universal background checks like Biden is, it's not going to be in it. But that is kind of good news. Like I was going to say, that it's kind of good news that those things are not in it. And I don't see that they could be right now if they wanted to make a bill that passed. If they want to put those things in there, great. That just guarantees it's not going to pass. And they know that. And he knows right now his best chance of getting it put through is for it to be as palatable as possible. And it's only got about a 50-50 chance of that. And every day that goes on from here forth, it becomes less of a chance. Like today it's 50-50. Tomorrow it'll be 49-51. Not in their favor. So they have to act quick, and they have to do something they can get everybody to agree on. They can get 60 signatures on. So he said those things won't be in there. So that's good. But there's one thing that really made me more worried than I would worry about those things. When asked what they are writing, he said, well, the template they're using is the legislation that was passed by Republicans in Florida regarding mass shootings. And I think we all remember what Florida did. Was basically red flag laws. So what I think we're seeing right now is Republicans and Democrats on the national level trying to push through red flag laws. And I think those are some of the most dangerous laws, period. Those are horrible for the people. They're great for the political machine and people in power and the standing army that supports their fascist decrees, law enforcement. Because basically red flag laws give more power to violate your rights to the police. They're able to go in under circumstances where usually the person that they're dealing with is the one in distress and make things worse by declaring them a danger seizing their property or the property of people they live with. Like they said, some 13-year-old threatened to shoot up the 8th grade, so they went in, and because they said he's a danger, they seized the father's guns and all this stuff. Instead of just dealing with the 13-year-old and saying, hey, instead of sending a mental health professional over there, instead of a bunch of jackbooted thugs and saying, hey, what's the problem? What's going on at school? How can we fix it? You and I, we're going to team up. We're going to fix it. We're going to bring people to our side. We're going to go in that school and we're going to talk about how these bullies are fucking assholes and no one likes them. And we're going to turn everybody to our side. We're going to make things better. That would help prevent turning a 13-year-old into a monster. And we should be spending more time trying to prevent people from becoming monsters than trying to deal with the aftermath once they have become them. But that requires mental health care, and no one wants to get behind mental health care, even though they say, oh, there's money in there for mental health care, and there's money in there for school security. Neither of those things ever pan out, because here's the thing. Nobody gets really rich doing mental health care. The politicians themselves can't make a big profit off of it, and the people who donate to them can't make a big profit off of it, because it's not a profitable industry. Trust me, I worked in it for many, many years. You know, you have to have a master's degree to even make a slightly livable wage. So there's no money in it. So they're not interested in doing that. But they are very interested in giving their own private army, the law enforcement people in this country, more power to come in and say, hey, you're a danger. We're going to play judge, jury, and execution and hold you accountable for something you haven't done just because we think you might do it. And if you think someone might be going to commit a crime, the best thing to do would be try to deal with the issues of why they're liable to commit a crime. Not go ahead and punish them for it, even though they haven't done it. They're like, oh, a woman tried to commit suicide, and when her boyfriend wrestled the gun away from her, she accidentally shot him, so we have to go in and seize the guns of both of them. No. How about go in and deal with why she tried to commit suicide? If you want to arrest her and hold her and get her into mental health care because she shot her boyfriend, do that. You don't need the power to be judge, jury, and executioner. But that's what they want. That's the goal. They just want it to where all the government has to do is declare you're a danger. And therefore, you basically can be held accountable for any crime you could have committed, even though you didn't do it and haven't done it and may never do it. But they want to punish you like you did do it. Because like I said, then all they have to do is point the finger at you. They have to say, oh, someone complained, or just make up the fact that someone complained. Doesn't actually have to be a complaint. They can craft them. And then go in and say, you're on the list now, so we can treat you like you committed a crime. We can completely deny you due process because we think you're dangerous. Is that what we want in this country? It seems to me that's the antithesis of freedom. That's the antithesis of our Constitution. The complete denial of due process. It's like when Trump said, take the guns first and then give them due process after. Well, that's not due process if the due process comes after. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter. You're just taking their guns and they can get them back. Well, that's not all you're taking. A lot of times you're taking their dignity. You're taking their mental health. You're taking other things. How long will it be till we start locking people up that we think are dangerous because they've been speaking out against the government, and those kind of people do bad things. They become insurrectionists. So we need to start locking them up preemptively or seizing their property. They've been using their house as a base of operations to talk bad about the government. We need to take their house, and their computers and their livelihood so that they can't be doing this anymore. That's what red flag laws are. They're the setup for that. They're a setup for total fascist behavior of the police. So I think the red flag laws are the most dangerous thing they could be trying to implement. I haven't seen red flag laws solve a single issue, stop a single crime. I've seen people get killed while the jackbooted thugs show up at their door to enforce red flag laws. But I haven't seen any crimes actually solved or actually prevented. What we should be doing, like I said, if someone is a danger or a potential danger, we don't send police with unlimited authority in to deal with them like they're criminals. Why don't we deal with them like they're people with the problems they currently have? deal with that. Deal with the mental health, the issues they're actually facing in their life, education, housing, etc. Let's work on making those things better. Better job opportunities. Let's work on making those things better instead of just giving the police more power and saying, oh, but we're doing it for the children. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show. I do appreciate you coming, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to always carry and stay safe until I see you again.